Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Ryan with Propelio. Today we've got Haley Gant from Quest IRA for this special Friday morning special where we get to see how stupid and ignorant Ryan is about retirement stuff. So in here, we're going to be talking about IRAs, self-directed IRAs, whatever it's called. And if you have questions, obviously jump in the conversation, the comments. If you have Ryan's an idiot, you know, if there's an emoji for that, let us see it. And let's get this thing started. So Haley, good morning. Thanks for coming out.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
First off, what is an IRA?
So an IRA is an individual retirement account. Basically at Quest IRA, which is the company that I work for, I'm one of our IRA specialists. We allow our clients to use their IRAs to invest into real estate and private assets. So instead of us being financial advisors and selling any sort of like stocks or mutual funds or publicly traded investments for your IRA to be invested in, which is what most of America will have their investments held in their IRA, will be something publicly traded. We allow our clients to invest in real estate and private assets. So you can buy rental properties, you can be a private lender, you can invest into apartment complexes, commercial deals, really got a lot of options. And it's a really great way to diversify your retirement portfolio and build up your retirement money a lot more faster than you may be able to otherwise with traditional investments.
So maybe I didn't preface, talk to me like I'm an idiot. So what is an IRA?
Yes.
So I understand that I can use this magical thing called an IRA to do real estate transactions, but what is this magical thing over here?
Yeah, the actual IRA. Yes, the magic that is the IRA. So
the thing that, you know, in college or in high school, the financial planner's like, get your Roth IRA.
Yeah,
do you want to contribute? I worked at Starbucks here, do this.
Yeah, I tell people every day. Yeah, so basically an IRA an account that was set up by the government several years ago that has special tax advantages that basically you get incentives to put money in and save for retirement. A lot of America and a lot of people will have their money in either like a 401k through their employer or a traditional IRA, which is going to be a tax deferred account. So when you put money in, you get a little bit of incentive, you get a tax deduction. So then when you put that money in and you get a tax deduction, it grows tax deferred. So as you're doing investments, whether they are stocks, publicly traded, or real estate, private investments, all your profits that you make are going to go back into the IRA. So you don't see that cash right now, but when it goes back into the IRA, it's not taxed. And you can immediately turn back around and reinvest that money. Within the IRA, the investments will actually be titled in the name of your IRA, and they're going to grow either tax deferred or tax free, depending on what type of account you have. And then later, once you hit retirement or 59 and a half, I know real estate investors typically don't actually retire at 59 and a half, but once you turn 59 and a half, you're able to take that money out. And the idea is that whenever you take that money out, if it's in like a 401k or a traditional IRA, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket because you're now retired. So whenever you pay the taxes coming out of that traditional IRA, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket. So you kind of get special tax advantages to save for retirement, and yeah, kind of put some money in there so you have money one day.
So I think typically with an IRA, like, and I'm going to assume everybody is kind of on the same wavelength I am. We think like a mutual fund. We think stock market. We think, and I understand. I can read when it says self-directed, but you know, typically an IRA is like you put money towards a Wall Street thing.
Yeah.
So what's the? And again, I did say this is going to be Ryan being stupid. But is the self-directed IRA as literally what it says on the paper, where it's like you get to choose where that money goes to earn more money?
Exactly, that's exactly what it means. So self-directed is really just a marketing term. It doesn't really specify a specific type of account. At Quest, all of our accounts are going to be self-directed. So that means as the client, you choose your own investment. You go out, you find the property that you want to buy with your IRA. You go out to a networking event and say you find someone that's looking for money for their deal. You can be a private lender out of your IRA and just loan that investor money, and then they pay the principal and interest back into your IRA account. And other companies like Fidelity, your more traditional brokerages, they will also have self-directed IRAs, but their version of self-directed is that they have a list of stocks or mutual funds for you to choose from, and then by self-directing that, you choose your own investment, but it's still something that's publicly traded.
So when an IRA, self-directed IRA, you get to choose your own investment, I understand the stock market side of things, and I understand I have the ability to do real estate side of things. But you did just say investments. So does that mean I can throw it towards any kind of investment out there, depending on whoever IRA company I'm with, if it's approved or whatnot?
Yeah, exactly. So the main difference is that at Quest, we will only hold private assets. So you've got a lot of options of what you want to invest your money in. But at Quest, we're not going to be able to hold any sort of like stock or mutual fund. We're only going to hold private assets. But I mean, that could be condos, options, rental properties, flips, promissory notes. You could do partial notes or do wraps. You've really got a lot of options there.
Excuse me. Sorry, my cat got my throat. So like the IRAs out there are there like thousands out there? Is it kind of the whole? There's no two ways to skin a cat. There's thousands of ways.
Exactly.
So like, because if I'm like, ooh, I want to buy a jet plane, or I want to spend all my money towards Bitcoin. Is there like, I know that's stupid. It's stupid. Is that ability, or is that like a government mandate of what you can or can't do?
So there's actually only two things that the government says you cannot invest your IRA in, and that is life insurance contracts and collectibles. Collectibles meaning like works of fine art. You can't really put like a hard value on that.
Wait, I can't use my IRA to buy Star Wars figurines?
Unfortunately, no. You
Lame.
Also, you're probably not going to be too happy about this one, but under collectibles falls under like alcoholic beverage collections. Cannot buy that with an IRA. Can't do life insurance contracts, but anything other than that, if it's not those two things, you can buy it with an IRA. There are some restrictions. There are some people that cannot directly or indirectly benefit from an investment that you're doing in your IRA, meaning like I couldn't buy a house with my IRA and go live in that house.
Right.
Because your IRA is set up to benefit you in retirement. The IRS doesn't really want you personally benefiting right now.
Yeah, because I've heard that before, like, because isn't it family as well? You're not allowed to use your own family's IRA, or
certain family members.
Okay.
Certain family members, yes, and we have a really great dance for it. Kind of how a stewardess
Yeah.
does her little thing whenever you're on a plane. The people that you cannot do those types of deals with or cannot benefit from an investment that you're doing with your IRA are yourself and your spouse. Anyone directly up and down on your family tree. So your parents, grandparents, kids, grandkids, and so on, and their spouses. And any companies that these people own, control, manage, or are highly compensated by. Basically what this means is you can't use your IRA to loan your mom money. You can't use your IRA to loan your kids money or invest directly into your own business that you own, control, or manage. And basically, so it's only those people directly up and down on your family tree that are considered disqualified people. And the reason being is because typically that is how wealth will be passed. When your parents pass, they're going to pass it down to you. You're going to pass things down to your kids. So the IRS pretty much sees those people lineally on your family tree just as disqualified as you are.
So, but if it's a family friend and they have money, you can use their money, or they can use your money, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, whatever relationships you go out there and build and decide to do deals together, you definitely can do that. Now, it is important to definitely be aware of if you ever were to get audited by the IRS and they deem that there is still a direct or indirect benefit to you personally from an investment that you're doing with your IRA, it could still be seen as a prohibited transaction, even if that person is not a disqualified person. You know, if I loan you money from my IRA and then you turn around and invest it directly into my own business, you're not a disqualified person to me. But by doing that investment, that causes a clear benefit to me personally, and it would still be seen as a prohibited transaction.
So earlier you were talking about, let's just get right into the real estate side of things. I just wanted to give kind of like a broad overview, just because, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I meet Steve. He's got an IRA of money. Now I want to use that money. Now, is there a predetermined interest rate, or is it at that point like a private capital negotiation thing?
It's totally up to you guys. And so one thing at Quest is we always have to stay neutral. We can't tell you how to structure the deal. We don't have any, it has to be this interest rate, the deal has to fit these qualifications. You as the client and the IRA holder, it's totally up to you to do all of your own due diligence. You need to go out there, find the relationship, whatever you and Steve decide you want to do for the terms for that loan, totally up to you guys. You would go and get that promissory note drafted up showing the IRA as the lender for that deal, send it to us with our whole 4 pages of internal Quest forms, and we'll fund the deal in about 24 to 48 hours.
So that was going to be my next question, is like, what's the timeline? Because if I know from a private capital, yes, you've got your hard money, you've got your traditional financing, you've got your own piggy bank, and then you've got friends. Like, hard money, they're going to tell you it's quick, but there's still a pain in the ass. And
it's expensive sometimes.
It's expensive, and you have to go through the hoops. We do have friends that are hard money lenders, and we recommend going to them. But you know, at the end of the day, there's no better way than private capital, because it's like, hey, Haley, I got this product. ARV's this, rehab's that. I need 200 tomorrow. Can you fund it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
let's do it.
so, but the difference between that and the IRA is like it'll take about maybe 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, once you get the paperwork drafted up, and granted, this is if you already have your Quest account opened up and funded,
right,
does have to be already opened up, because that process does sometimes take a couple of weeks to get the money moved over to Quest. But I mean, once we receive that paperwork from you, if we receive it in the morning, a lot of times we can fund the deal that afternoon. And what's nice is like we don't ever charge anything to expedite the deal. If you call us and you need an investment funded like ASAP, we can do that for you. We can push it through pretty quickly. And we've got a really great team that, you know, we all kind of work together to make sure that we push them through as quickly as possible.
So from a, because right now I'm talking in the terms of like, no IRA guy talking to the person with an IRA.
Yeah.
So that relationship is, I need money as an investor. I'm networking, and I meet Haley, I meet Steve, I meet the people, and they've got IRAs with whoever, and they have money to lend.
Yeah.
And is the whole point of Quest IRA is to be that institution that lends out to investors?
Exactly. So we're basically the vehicle that allows people to use their IRAs to be the private lender, to buy that property or to hold the rental, or use their IRA to invest into like an apartment complex or commercial deal, something like that.
So from a business standpoint, y'all are looking for just as many people to open up IRA as people to approach y'all to invest as well.
Exactly. So not exactly approach us, because we can never directly put our clients together.
You're neutral.
Yes, exactly. But we host a lot of events. We attend a lot of events. If you go to a real estate networking event in Dallas, there's a good chance that I'm going to be there.
Right.
We're all over the place, and we love doing that so our clients can come together and network and meet people as well.
Okay, so as an investor, I'm looking for money. This is why networking is so important. You should always be networking. And actually, that's a good nugget. What would be a good tactful way of saying, hey, Haley, how much money do you got in your IRA? Because I want to use it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you tactfully approach that subject without seeming skeezy?
Yeah, and that's a really good point. We talk about that in a lot of our classes. You know, I would say first the conversation needs to start, do you have an IRA? Do you know about self-directed IRAs? Because honestly, a lot of people, even a lot of real estate investors, they don't even know that they have this option. They don't know that they can use their IRA to be a private lender or to buy a rental property or any sort of property as an investment in the IRA. So it's about having that right conversation and about having the right resources around you, such as a good IRA specialist that can help to answer those questions, walk you through the process of, hey, this is what you can actually do with your IRA, the other options that you have that maybe you haven't heard of before, and kind of walk you through the process of how to actually use the IRA to do this investment.
So say just to pivot for a little bit, I've been a real estate investor since I was 15 or whatever, because a lot of real estate investors drop out of high school and just go for it, and they've got money. And they've never done the IRA thing because they've never worked at Starbucks, they've never worked at a corporate place, they've never been told,
not even thinking about it, honestly.
You need to have an IRA.
Yeah.
Like, walk me through the steps of, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Like, what would be the steps other than having the light bulb moment of, I probably need to put some stuff away so the tax man doesn't kill me. Yeah,
exactly. So I mean, really the first part would just be to like open up an account, get the education, fill out some account opening forms, make your contributions. I firmly believe that if you do not have a Roth IRA, you need a Roth IRA. Before 2010, there used to be an income limit, and not everyone could have a Roth IRA. In 2010, they took the income limit off of doing a Roth conversion. So before, well, even now, if you make too much money, you cannot make a direct contribution to a Roth IRA. But now you can take money from a traditional IRA and convert it to a Roth IRA and move it in there. Before 2010, you couldn't do that, but then they changed the laws. I think the IRS kind of wanted some tax money from some people who, you know, were going to pay the taxes going into the Roth. But if you don't have an IRA or you don't have a Roth IRA, you definitely need one. One day they may put that income limit back on. So if you don't have a Roth IRA right now, then, you know, if you don't take advantage of it, the laws may change back one day and you
So right now there is no limit right now?
Not on doing a Roth conversion. So if you make too much money, you can still make a contribution to a traditional IRA and just immediately convert it to the Roth IRA. We call it Yes, nice little loophole there. We call it like a backdoor conversion. But again, getting the education, finding out, what types of accounts you qualify for, how you can use these different types of accounts together. And even if you're not an active real estate investor or you're maybe not ready to self-direct your IRA, get one opened up somewhere. Go to more like traditional brokerage if you're not ready. Because honestly, the best thing about a self-directed IRA is you get to choose your own investments.
So if I'm an investor guy and I've got $1 million sitting in the bank and I'm actively like lending out as private capital. I'm like, hey, here's 12 and 2. I get my 2 points origination. I get 12% on the loan, and then obviously, I pay tax on that. And that's just very cut and dry, straight and forward. It's very easy. I get my promissory note, all the deed of trust, all that stuff. What's the difference between me doing that on my own over here and then like opening up an account at a self-directed IRA? I mean, if I'm doing that, I'm still getting gain from loaning to that person. I mean, that's okay because we're not related and we're not like.
Yeah, and so let me make sure I'm understanding your question. You're asking what's the difference between you doing this as an individual, as Ryan Harper, versus doing it in your IRA?
Right, like if I've got $1 million and I'm actively loaning out as private capital, and right now, yes, I pay tax on that, and yes, I get my 12 and 2.
Exactly it right there.
If I go over to my IRA, like what is the direct benefit? I mean, because right now I'm sure I'm going to have fees, I'm going to have,
just a little bit,
whatever, but but I'm sure that's all go. Like, what's the difference? Like, what's the gain in that situation?
So the difference is.
I guess I'm asking why.
Yeah. So you as an individual, you're a taxpayer. Whenever you do your investments or you're loaning people money and you're making income, you're going to pay back about 30 to 35, maybe upwards of like 40% of the income that you're making each year. You're going to pay that back to Uncle Sam. So when you do those investments inside of your IRA, when you make all your profits, your principal and interest, whatever, it all goes back into the IRA. So you don't see that cash flow right now, but when it goes back into the IRA, it's not taxed.
Right.
So you can immediately turn back around and reinvest it. And just imagine like the opportunity cost of you as an individual, as a taxpayer, you're paying back that 30 to 35% each year that you don't get to use to reinvest next year. When you're doing it inside of your IRA and you're not losing that 30 to 35% each year, it compounds on itself much more quickly than a lot of people think. I mean, even just me with my IRA, I have a Roth IRA. I've had it for about 2 years now since I started working at Quest, and I maxed out 2 years worth of contributions, $11,000 total, and I've done 2 fix and flips, partnered it with my mom's Roth IRA, and just from those 2 deals in about a year and a half, my IRA has doubled in size to $22,000. And that's all in a Roth IRA, completely tax-free for the rest of my life. As long as I leave the profits in there until I'm 59 and a half, I'm never gonna be taxed on that money. So yes, you don't get the cash flow from it right now, so that is maybe one downside. But I mean, using an IRA for your investments is not a replacement for your business. It's not a replacement for having an LLC and doing your investments in there. It's really just another way to, hold some investments in a different type of vehicle that gets special tax advantages that you don't get as an individual.
So same scenario, I have that $1 million and I'm like, I put in my IRA and I do a couple of private capital for people. And then I'm like, hey, I got a flip, but I put all my money in my IRA. Am I just screwed, or then do I have to go to somebody else's IRA to borrow from them?
Yeah,
because I can't borrow from
go to
my own,
someone
right?
else's IRA. Yeah, so your IRA is a really great way to save money for retirement. You're gonna not pay taxes, and you see that money later. But to put money into your own pocket right now and to find private funding sources for your deals, other people's IRAs, or OPI as we like to call it, kind of like the nail polish, but it's better because—
What is OPI for y'all?
Other people's IRAs, which is better because it's other people's money.
OPM, other people's money.
Other people's IRAs are a really great source of private funding sources for your deals, and so their IRA will loan you money, and that feeds you now. That puts money into your eats bucket, as we like to call it, where you'll kind of get some cash flow from
and
that.
I guess logically, if you have the connections and you have the network to say loan out at 12, 14%, and then you're able to maybe sweet talk into somebody gets you 6 to 8%, it almost makes sense to do that. It's like if I'm loaning them 8 or 12 and somebody else is giving me 6, well then your arbitrage, you get that. I mean, I know I'm way out there in this little scenario, but
Yeah.
You know, I could see that.
No, yeah, it's great.
I think Jeff had a quick question. Let me scroll that up there real quick before I forget. If you use the IRA to purchase a rental property, does the rental income have to go back to the IRA?
Yes, it does. So pretty much any profits you make from an investment that is being held in your IRA, that profit has to go back into the IRA. If you hold a rental property, you could have a property manager that just takes care of those expenses for you, and the property manager will just collect the rental payments each month, send them back into the IRA, but you don't have to have a property manager. Some people love it, set it and forget it, let them worry about the toilets and tenants, but some people don't want to have that extra expense. So if you don't have a property manager, your tenants can, actually now they can just go online directly to our Quest website and pay their rental payments directly online, kind of like I do for my apartment complex. I just go online every month, log in, click pay, and it pays it directly from my bank account to there. You can do the same thing with the IRA, or your tenant will just make the rental payment out to the titling of your IRA, and then as long as the rental payment is made out to the IRA, that's the important thing there. Your tenants can never make the check out to you personally and then you try to put it into your IRA. That would be considered prohibited by the IRS, by their regulations.
But there's certain softwares out there, and maybe you brought it up and I just wasn't listening or I didn't hear it. Like there's certain like app, I think it was AppFolio that collects rent from it.
Yeah.
If you set up an app like that to where it directly funnels into your IRA, is that acceptable, or does it need to go through? I don't know.
So as far as like setting up an app like that, I mean, like, I would say that's leaning a little bit more towards the gray area, just because, I mean, you're technically maybe providing a service at that point to your IRA, which is another thing that you're technically not supposed to do. But I mean, your tenants can just go online, questira.com, make a payment and pay their rent right there, and then it kind of cuts out that process. That I feel like that would kind of add an extra step.
Okay.
That may not be necessary, but they just log in, do an ACH directly
So
to the
y'all
website.
you are the what?
Yes,
You are
yes.
Can they write a check, or does it have to be online?
They can write a check,
Okay.
they can do it online. They could even have our incoming ACH and wire instructions and just send it directly from their bank account to Quest.
But the important thing to remember is the payment has to go from
Yes.
the tenant to the IRA.
Yes, exactly. And another important thing to kind of note there is that any expenses to do with this investment also have to be paid from the IRA. Since
Okay.
the IRA is the entity that is owning that property, any expenses like new toilets, new paint,
AC,
utility
roof.
bills, yeah, those have to be paid from the IRA. Again, super simple. You just upload a picture of the invoice or the bill to our client portal, and we send the payment out in our 24 to 48-hour time frame.
So it has to be paid out through the service. I guess what I'm asking, but what about a service that needs payment right then and there?
Right then and there. So we do have a solution to this. So again, kind of how your tenants can never make the payments directly to you, and then you try to put it into your IRA from there. We can never directly reimburse you or someone who's just qualified to your IRA for an expense. If someone needs to be paid right then and there, we actually have something, we kind of call it our Bob solution, where Bob is just a trusted third-party person to you who is not just qualified to your IRA. Maybe like a business partner, property managers, a lot of times that's when that works out really well as well. But your Bob, per se, can pay for those small, petty, minor expenses. Like if you have to go to Home Depot and buy paint or buy toilets, I don't know why I always use toilets as an example.
Because everybody that rents houses through Quest have big asses and just blow it out. They
Possibly.
just, like when they shit.
Yeah. And that's why we don't get involved from there.
Those toilets go boom.
Yeah, gosh, I've heard some crazy stories. Tenants like to blow things up. I've definitely heard about
Welcome
that
to
a
real
few
estate.
times. Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. The joys of real estate investing right there.
So Matt, he has a good question here, and he's still trying to understand how to use an IRA for a fix and flip, and he's asking if you could run through how that works. And I'm imagining he wants you to go all up in the weeds.
All right.
So
how to use it for a fix and flip.
yeah, so let's look at it from two angles. Let's look at it from the first angle. Let's look at it from as like, I am the investor. I am fixing up a house, and
Yeah.
I'm using Steve or Haley or whoever. I'm using their IRA fund to fund it. Like, what's that process from the closing of the deal,
Yeah.
or even before the closing? Just
Yeah.
walk me, like again,
Yeah.
talk to me and Matt like we're stupid.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So two different scenarios. So first, I think he's kind of asking like if he's actually taking ownership of that property
Right.
in the IRA.
Yes. Well, no. Well, that's what I'm saying. Let's do two ways. I'm an investor, and I'm using your IRA.
Okay.
How do I from the very beginning.
A to Z, yeah.
A to Z.
Yeah. So basically, we break it down into 5 easy steps. We actually have a flyer. We call it our roadmap. The first step would be, go out, make that connection. We're going to talk about the first one. If my IRA is loaning you money and you're the investor and you're doing the fix and flip. Basically, me and you, we figure out I have money in my IRA to lend. You're looking to borrow money. We will get a promissory note drafted up. And
is that on me, or is that on you, or is that on Quest?
It's not on Quest. Doesn't matter who does it, but it's
We
definitely
ain't
not
doing
on
it.
Quest.
It ain't us. It ain't us.
Yeah. And typically, honestly, a lot of times the borrower will, cover those expenses to get it drawn up.
Title company will
It's
do
a
it or
cost of
whatever.
doing business, But yeah, basically, we would get that promissory note drafted up showing my IRA loaning you the money. So the lender in that case will be Quest IRA Inc. for the benefit of Haley Gant IRA number 123456. So we'll get that note drafted up, and then. Since I'm the lender in that deal, I'm definitely going to want to secure that loan on the property. I want to be in the first lien position just because that's my personal preference.
You want to be, or is it required?
It's not required. So you can loan money out of your IRA secured or unsecured. Me personally, as a lender, I want to protect myself.
Right.
So I'm going to make sure that I'm in the first lien position, and I'm going to also get a deed of trust drafted up. That way, if you don't pay me, or you don't pay my IRA, I can foreclose,
Right.
and my IRA will take the property as collateral.
But going back to you were talking about how you have 22,000 in there. 22,000, unless you're partnering with somebody, is not going to cover. In Dallas, at least, it's probably
right.
it's most likely not going to be able to cover the purchase and the flip.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and again, you said it's personal preference. So if I'm able to get, Bob over here to loan me the acquisition, I can. Again, it's on you to decide you want to do it or not do it, to do the loan for the second lien position.
Yeah.
Is that just kind of like a personal preference?
It's a personal preference, yeah. My parents are hard money lenders, so I'm not going to loan if I'm not protected. But I mean, you can loan money out of your IRA unsecured, just do the promissory note, and then, I mean, if the borrower doesn't pay, then you kind of got to take some steps from there to hopefully rectify the situation. But yeah, so we'll get it drafted up. My IRA will be the lender. We will sign off, and then since you're using your IRA, Quest will actually need to sign off the final signature as like the lender for that deal. So the client submits the paperwork to us, we read over it, make sure that we're not missing anything, and then once we have all of the paperwork that we need, Quest IRA will fund the deal. We'll send the money directly from the IRA to you, the borrower, and whatnot. And then as you're making those payments back, you can just go online and do it, send us checks, and it's a pretty straightforward process.
Because I love weeds, lenders, whatever, 70% my spare, or 70% LTV, 75% LTV. Oh, I got a line of credit over here. Is the terms as far as the interest rates and the amount loaned, is that all on whoever the person is?
Yeah.
So
totally
if they want to loan up to 100% of the deal, they will.
Yeah.
Or they can.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the beauty of private lending out of IRAs. It's strictly relationship based. Whatever terms we agree upon, and however we want to do the deal, the when it's going to be paid back, any points, the interest rate, if it's going to be a balloon payment at the end, or maybe paying like interest payments back every month. Totally up to you guys and how you want to structure that.
Because what I'm hearing right now is like it's exactly like working with private capital. The only difference is you have an intermediary to just and make it to where it's tax deferred versus because the beauty again of private capital is the non-hassle and the not having to do the application fees and the application at all.
Checks,
and it's just like I know with our private capital, it's like, hey, we want X amount of dollars, we'll give you whatever and whatever. If you want to loan it, we're currently paying 6 and none. Just kidding. But I mean that would be great.
Right?
But say you are paying 10 and 2 or 12 and 2 or whatever, we're like, we'll pay you at the end. But that's just the relationships we have, and at the end you get that balloon. So I'm hearing with Quest or with an IRA, I don't want to be. There are other IRAs out there. We try not to get 2 sales a year. You have the ability to just say you can set those terms up to where in a situation like that, it's like no fees up front, no maintenance fees. We'll just do a balloon at the end. But that's all on how you negotiate with your person.
Yep, totally up to you guys.
So who are those people? That's what I want to know.
I know,
if you
right?
are currently an IRA holder and you like to loan up to like crazy interest rates and you want to do, comment below. We want to hear you out. Going back to Matt and that process, because we're still on identifying the person. And you said there was 5 steps.
Yes.
So like I said, we'll weed the shit out of this. So what's step 2?
So the first step is to open up the account.
Well, the first step is identifying somebody who has an IRA.
Okay, sorry. Our 5 steps are slightly different than those 5 steps. So technically, we're already on step 3.
Okay.
Because we've already got the account open, we've got the account funded, we've already got our funds like transferred over. Step 3 on our checklist. Yes.
Well, I was going to say is if I'm borrowing, do I have to be associated with Quest at all?
Nope.
Cool.
You just find the IRA holder. You don't have to be an IRA holder with us. You're the borrower. The IRA is just loaning you money. Hopefully you would have some sort of relationship with us because you are making those payments back every month. So you will have a little bit of communication with us somehow, hopefully, if you're a good borrower.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, right? Yeah, borrow the money and then never hear from you again.
That's not good.
No, and again, that's why it's really important to always do your due diligence before getting into the deal. Because at Quest, we fund an investment, whether it's a good investment or a bad investment. Basically, what we're going to look over whenever we receive investment paperwork is that has the client signed in all of the right places? Do we have our proper Quest forms? Is there enough money in the IRA to do this deal? Because I mean, you can't loan money if it's not in the IRA.
So basically, what y'all are doing is we are facilitating the service, and all our paperwork makes it so we don't get sued. But it's on you if you lose your ass in your investment.
Exactly, yes. Always do your own due diligence, yeah. And that's what I was saying earlier. The best part about a self-directed IRA is you get to choose your own investments, but the worst part about a self-directed IRA is that you have to choose your own investments, but another thing that we're gonna look for is we are gonna look over it to make sure that it's nothing that's like blatantly prohibited.
Right.
You know, if you're loaning money to someone with your same last name, we're probably gonna call you and make sure that you're not trying to loan money to your spouse or your parents or your kids. But I mean, outside of that, it is up to you to get the right education, kind of know how to do your own due diligence for the deals, and make sure that you have the right network and connections within your circle of, your kind of circle of investors to make sure that you are getting yourself into a deal that kind of fits you and what you're looking for right now.
So I forgot we're in the steps. So we've identified somebody who will lend us money. We're doing the deed of trust. We're doing the paperwork at the closing. We go to closing. Title company requests the wire. The IRA wires the money in.
Yep. And then you do the deal from there.
Okay.
My IRA has now loaned you the money. You've got the money you need for the deal. You go off and fix up the house, buy all the fancy new toilets, because you know how that went earlier.
You love toilets.
I do. Toilets and tenants.
Yeah,
Great way to do it.
I do have a question on that, though, is because I know it depends. I know it all depends on how you set up the loan and set up the situation. But like a hard money, a lot of them, depending if they don't have a relationship yet, they're going to do draws.
Yeah.
Now, do y'all do draws as well, or is it, again that's just a system you set up? You can either have a lump sum at the closing, or you can do a draw system. It's all how you work it out.
Exactly. Either way, whenever we go to fund that investment, and our internal Quest forms, we call it our direction of investment. There's a place on there where you will designate, do you want the investment fully funded? Is this a new investment that, it's brand new investment, or is this an existing investment that you're just doing an additional funding for? So if you do a promissory note and my IRA is loaning you money, say we're only gonna do like a partial funding. I'm only gonna loan you half of the money initially until you get some of the work done. Once we're ready to do that second draw, basically, me as the account holder, I just fill out another direction of investment. I say additional funding, send this much more money to Ryan's bank account over here.
And then how long does that take?
24 to 48 hours.
So pretty much the can, not can in a negative way, but just the can response is 24 to 48 hours is
and
the turnaround.
basically, most times we can do it in a day, but I mean, we do give ourselves that window because there are times that, we're funding a lot of investments at once. I mean, if you get us paperwork at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, we're not going to be able to get the deal funded that day because our wire cutoff time has already gone through. But a lot of times, if you get us that deal in the morning before like the morning funding cutoff, we can fund the deal that day. And again, if you ever need it expedited, just call us, be nice, and let us know, hey, this investment needs to go through like ASAP. Be nice.
I just love that your first is like, what do you call us? Be nice.
Yeah. So if you call me and you're rude and you want it expedited, I may not be able to do it that day.
Like, are there that many pissed off people in the IRA world?
No,
not at all. No, none. They're all super sweet.
It depends. I mean, we've definitely had some people that have had bad investments that call in and are just really angry about the situation and kind of take it out on us. But I mean, what's life without a few angry people every once in a while?
So what I'm hearing is if you're going to do an IRA and you're going to work with Haley, don't be a dick.
Yeah,
anyway, you don't have to say
nice.
that. You can be, I'll say it.
Right.
Okay, so we've got the whole, now we're on step, I forgot the step counts, but okay, I have my money, I'm doing my rehab, and then when I go to close, and depending on the terms of the loan, I'm either making monthly payments or I'm doing a balloon at the end. I go to closing, and then the title company sends you a check. And again, on that process, is it I got to call up you, or I call up Quest, or I call up whoever to say, hey, we're ready to close this. Can you send me wiring instructions, or how does that work?
Yeah. I mean, you can call Quest if you don't already have the wiring instructions. I would say, like, talk to the IRA holder that you're working with. Let them know, hey, it's about to pay off. About to send the money back to Quest.
But how do I get the pay? Is it Quest has the payoff information, or is it Haley, the individual?
It
or
should be
Steve,
kind of
or
like built
it was?
into the promissory note. You guys should hopefully know that information. Then you just send us the funds.
Right. Cool.
And again, just like your tenants can make their rental payments through our website, you can also make your monthly interest payments or the balloon payment through an ACH directly through our website. So we make it pretty easy for you. That's actually a new feature like within the past year that we've added, and we've got some other new features coming out as well, but just not yet. But we're always kind of updating stuff, making it as easy on our clients as possible. I mean, everyone at Quest are like president, CEO, executives, and like myself included as an IRA specialist. A lot of us were involved in real estate investing for several years before we even got involved with Quest. So we think like real estate investors. And I think that's one thing that does kind of set us apart. I mean, if you're trying to fund a deal in real estate, especially in Dallas when the market's really hot right now, that 24 to 48 hour funding time can make or break a deal a lot of times. So I mean, like, we think like you guys think. So we try to make it as easy as possible.
Where's our button? Subtle plug.
Subtle.
And then on that note, if I or me personally am borrowing you from your IRA, I'm not paying monthly. It's going to be a lump balloon. Just throwing that out there. If you ever want to give me money, but I ain't doing the monthly thing. So Matt, I hope that answers your question. Hopefully we went through the weeds enough. It sounds pretty straightforward and simple.
Yeah.
I think we already answered a lot of those questions on the flip side, but let's just visit it since we're here.
Yeah.
I have an IRA, and you want to do a flip. What's that process?
So your IRA is going to loan me money this
Sure.
time?
But
I mean, it'd be exactly the same.
I know it's the same thing, but like,
instead,
what do I need to be worried about from
as a lender's perspective? Yeah. So as a lender, and this is one thing that kind of I think is a really big difference in between hard money and using private money with an IRA. When you go through a hard money lender, it is going to be a little bit more expensive, but they have the expertise and they've seen the deals, they have the programs, and that's their business, is to be the lender on that deal. And a hard money lender is going to have the right knowledge to do the due diligence. A hard money lender is not going to loan on a deal if it's a bad deal. If the numbers don't make sense, a hard money lender is not going to do that loan.
Right.
As a private lender, if I find a house and I think this house is worth $200,000 ARV, but it's only worth $150,000, and I tell you the numbers that I think are right, but my numbers are way off, you as the lender should hopefully go in and do some due diligence, run the numbers, make sure that they make sense, because if you rely on me as the borrower and my numbers and the numbers don't make sense, you could get yourself into a little bit of hot water, because me as the borrower kind of got myself into a sticky situation.
And on that note, just a quick segue from IRAs, just going back to the nugget land of that is real estate investing. You can trust people and you can like people, but you need to verify them. Last night, Daniel and I were looking at a property, and he's like, hey, what do you think of these numbers? He didn't want to tell me his numbers because he wanted my opinion, just so he didn't want his numbers to influence my numbers. So you always need to do the work. You always need to do your own due diligence, because again, sadly, in this world, there's a lot of shady people. That should be a hashtag, shady people. There are a lot of shady people that will take advantage of the situation. And some of them have big names, but they're able to take advantage of small people that don't realize that they have a voice to complain about. So always do your due diligence, regardless if you're buying a house, loaning a house, or whatever. We already answered this, but let's go ahead and answer it again. Kimberly Lee, she's asked, can you purchase a rental with your own IRA? And let's go further and let's go into the weeds on that. What does that process look like? Yeah,
so basically if you want to hold a rental property, so previously we were talking about your IRA just being the lender on the deal. Now we're going to talk about like if your IRA is actually going to take title to that rental property. So say you go out, you're like driving for dollars, you find a house, it looks like it's going to be a really great investment, and you decide, hey, I want to buy this one in my IRA instead of like in my own money. So you would drop that purchase contract just like you normally would. Everything's still the same. You still have to, kind of get that document together. Quest cannot help you structure that deal. But the buyer on that contract will read Quest IRA Inc. for the benefit of your name and your IRA account number. So your IRA will actually be the buyer in this case that will take title and take ownership to that investment property. So you submit that contract to Quest, again, this time with our direction of investment for real estate instead of for promissory notes like we were talking about previously. You'll submit that to Quest, and then we'll work with the title company to send the funds from the IRA directly to the title company, which will then go to like the seller, all that fun stuff. So once your IRA takes title to that investment, we always say you can use your brain, but not your brawn. One thing whenever you own a property with your IRA is you cannot physically go out and do the work yourself on that property. Even if like you own a roofing company or you're a contractor, since that property is owned by your IRA, you cannot provide that service. That is one of the things the IRS says that you also cannot do. But you can go out to the property,
Makes perfect sense, by the way.
assess what needs to be done, yeah. And so, you go out
That's
kind of...
sarcasm.
Oh yeah? No. But you go out to the property, you assess what needs to be done, choose which contractors, which plumbers you want to employ to do that work, and then whenever they do that, again, you just send the invoices to us, upload them to the client portal, and we'll send out that payment. Again, kind of like with the draws on promissory notes, we can do like split payments for paying expenses. So if you have a contractor, a lot of times you probably don't want to pay that contractor all of their money up front, because then the work's probably not going to get done. But we can do a payment. You can send us an invoice. We can send half of that payment, and then once the work is done, you just let us know, and we can send the rest of that payment out as well.
So say I'm in Dallas and we've hit a market peak and my rental has appreciated a shit ton. And I'm like, you know what? I have a gut feeling that the bottom's going to fall out. Let me just go ahead and recap. Do I have the ability to sell that asset and get out of it, and then that money? And does it just go straight, all of it, straight into my IRA?
Exactly, yeah. So you always make your own investment decisions for the IRA. If you want to hold that property for 10 or 15 years, let it appreciate, and then sell it. One nice thing is all of that appreciation for that property, whenever you sell that property, all the proceeds from the sale will go back into the IRA, totally tax-free at that time. You're not going to pay any taxes until you take distributions if it's from a traditional IRA. But then again, if it's in a Roth IRA, all of that appreciation, all of that income from that property, completely tax-free.
So let me ask you a couple of questions. I speak English.
IRA?
Questions. That I'm asking only because I'm sure somebody out there is asking, not because I am shady. So I have a house that I want to do a flip. I want to use somebody else's IRA, but I also want to have a little pocket change. Can I assign it to myself or sign it to another entity? And then you're like, no. Because I know hard money lender is going to red flag, hell no.
Yeah.
But again, you already talked about Quest. It's like you have the ability to do whatever you want to do. And is it on them to do the diligence, say, no, you can't do that shit? Or is that just a no?
Well, I mean, so you can't assign properties to yourself, just like you can't loan yourself money. I mean, that causes a clear benefit to you personally. So no, you cannot do that. Yeah.
So that answers my second question, which was, if I have a flip and I want to use my own money, or not, you can't use an IRA money on your own flip unless all that money goes back, right?
So if you already own a property, like you personally, there is pretty much no way to use your IRA funds for that.
But if I'm buying a property?
So yes, so one thing that you can do, even though you can't loan, sell, buy, trade back and forth between you and your IRA, you can actually partner your own funds with your IRA funds and divide up the percentages of ownership for an investment. Like say you come across a property and you want to kind of help build up your IRA, but you also want some cash flow at the same time.
You go like 50-50 or something?
Yeah, 50-50, 75-25, 22.83. You could do whatever percentages of ownership you want to. Basically, again, on that contract, you'll just list out both parties on the buyer line, and then you'll just do to an undivided interest of 50%. 30%, 20%.
But when you're doing profit splits at the bottom, at the end, how magnifying glass are people looking at how the profits are split up?
Well, so
does it have to be down the line, however you did it? Okay.
Yes. So textbook rules, yes, based on the percentages of ownership that are designated at the time that you take ownership of that property, that has to stay consistent and parallel throughout the life of the investment. So if you own 50% of that property and your IRA owns 50% of that property, each party pays its percentage of the purchase price, its percent of any expenses and repairs, and then when the profits come back, they also come back split based on those percentages of ownership. But partnering, honestly, it makes the titling a little bit long on that property, but we see it all day, every day. Partnering is a really great way to grow up a smaller IRA, because you're right, you probably can't use $22,000 to buy a property, account for the holding cost, and fix it up, and kind of wait for it to sell. But like, for example, the 2 deals that I've done, my IRA owned 8% of the first investment, and since it had gotten a little bit of money back, and it had a little bit more money than it started with after that first investment.
Next time you can do 9%.
Yeah,
10%.
next time it owned like 11%.
Nice.
And just through that, it was able to double in a year. And imagine doing that for 10, 15, or 20 years. It's really amazing.
So let's go back to your hell no answer, or my hell no question. I have LLC Harper 123, and I have Harper. What did I say? Harper 123. What's my last name? Harper. And I have LLC Harper ABC. 123 assigns it to 123, whatever.
Yeah.
1 to 2 assigns it for 10, 20,000, and 2's gonna buy it, and I want to use my own IRA money. Is that the hell no? Is anybody gonna notice? Is it just shady? Is it?
Yeah, that's
because I do want to have cash flow, but at the end of the day, if it's still a good flip, it's still a good flip.
Yeah.
Because if I'm able to buy it at 50%, and I still want to use my IRA, why not try to recoup 20 grand right off the top?
So exactly, and it goes back to the rules of disqualified people and prohibited transactions. The restrictions, basically what it comes down to is, if you ever were to get audited by the IRS and the IRS deems that there is a direct or indirect benefit to you personally from an investment that's being done in your IRA, it's a prohibited transaction. It could blow up your entire IRA. We've seen the penalties be upwards of like 150 to like 170%. Basically, your IRA is distributed at the time that that prohibited transaction happened, and then the penalties kind of go back based on when that happened. And there's no statute of limitation. So I mean, if they go, because if you do a prohibited transaction, more than likely it's not going to be found at the time that you do it. The IRS agent is not going to come knocking on your door the day after you close saying, hey, you did this prohibited transaction yesterday. But if they come down and kind of audit you 10 years later, and they find that there is this prohibited transaction in there, that you assigned a property and you got a personal benefit and then put it in your IRA, the years ago that you did that, you could still be penalized for all of those years that IRA basically was not an IRA because it was a prohibited transaction.
To be clear and to throw out my disclaimer, dear Mr. IRS man, I do not have an IRA account.
Not yet.
Not yet. And then on top of that, all my questions are for entertainment purposes only. Jeff, we answered this before, but we'll just briefly, does the money come out of the draw schedule? Again, the draw schedule is based off of whatever terms you set forth. DeMarcus, well, first of all, thank you so much for everybody watching. Please give us some likes. Please give us some shares. Fire, pregnant emojis, all of the things. I think Haley's doing a good job, so if you think she's doing a good job, keep on. And then also, we'll do our book giveaway. So book giveaway, we'll figure out a book later, but the more comments you put in, the more ability you have to get in that contest. DeMarcus, well, first of all, DeMarcus, good job on your contract you got the other day. I want details because I want to buy it. Purchasing out of the IRA, is there a way to avoid the tax fee for pulling out of it? I think he's looking for a loophole.
Let's see, purchasing out of the IRA, is there avoid the tax fee? I'm assuming that's saying, is there a way to avoid being taxed whenever you take your distributions? Yes, do it in a Roth IRA. So the Roth IRA, you're gonna pay the taxes up front whenever you put the money into the Roth, or like if you move over from a traditional IRA and do that Roth conversion and take your funds from a traditional IRA and put it into a Roth IRA, you're gonna pay the taxes up front based on whatever amount you move into the Roth. Essentially, it's added to your taxable income for the year, and then you're taxed on it based on your tax bracket. But once you pay the taxes going into a Roth IRA, it grows completely tax-free for the rest of your life. So. And I always tell people, if you have a really large traditional IRA, or even if you have a small one, having a small traditional IRA or a small 401k is a great time to do a Roth conversion, because we always say, would you like to pay taxes on the acorn or the money tree? If you pay the taxes like on $30,000 moving it into the Roth, say you're doing like a $30,000 investment, and you think this investment is going to pay off really well, go ahead and do that Roth conversion before you do that investment. So you pay the taxes on that $30,000 going into the Roth, but then if you make $50,000 from that investment, since it's done in the Roth IRA, all that profit is now going to go back into the Roth IRA, and that is all completely tax-free.
Because Ryan's an idiot, is when you have, say you have an account with Quest or whoever, again, everybody gets a sales pitch. Is there a difference? I mean, can you have a Roth, or is it like what is the terminology? Because I'm stupid on this. Is you choose Roth? Is it basically a choice between do you want to be taxed now or do you want to be taxed later?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
It all depends on when you want to take the tax. If you see that it's worth it to do the Roth conversion now, pay the taxes up front, and then let it grow tax-free from there. A lot of times, maybe if you just quit your job, if you're starting a business, you may be in a lower tax bracket this year. It may be a more opportune time to do that Roth conversion. If you've still got a really nice paying job and you've got a large 401k and you're in a really high tax bracket, you may not want to do that Roth conversion now. You may want to wait and just pay the taxes later and worry about it then.
In your situation where you had 11,000, was it a Roth or was it the other one?
Oh, it's a Roth. Definitely a Roth.
Now,
yeah.
And then that 11, now it's double. You'll never have to pay taxes because you paid tax at the beginning.
Exactly.
So, light bulb moment for me. So if I start an account and then I'm actively going out to these networking events, I'm actively, oh, you need money, I got money. You need money, I got money.
Yeah.
And because again, it's not, if you need money, yes, you have to actively go out there and get money. But guess what? In this market, money is easy. I know a lot of people think it's hard to get money. It's not. If you have a deal that's a $10 million deal, I guarantee you, me and my team, Daniel and I, we could have that funded within 12 hours. That being said, if you have $12 million, it is hard as hell to find deals. So money is easy. So therefore, if you have the money, you have to actively be going to network events, meeting people, and basically pimping yourself out. Greg, yes, you can have contact details for Haley. What is your phone number? What is your email? What do you give out? Email?
Yeah, so my email is a great way to contact me. I have really great email templates that kind of walk you through a lot of the steps of the process. My email is just haley.gant@questira.com. That is, let's see, we got the spelling right on here. Yeah, HALEY.GANT@questira.com. You can also call us. So I'm one of our IRA specialists. We also have 15 certified IRA specialists on our staff. We all help each other out. We all work together. If you call 1-855-FUN-IRAs, because we're the Fun IRAs, just ask for an IRA specialist. I know, it's fun, right? All I do is talk about IRAs. They're awesome. But 1-855-FUN-IRAs, that's our main line. Just ask for any IRA specialist. We'll sit down with you on the phone for 30 minutes, an hour, however long it takes. We also do appointments in the office, but we'll hold your hand through the whole process.
And Greg, next time you have a giant RV park in Florida, hook it up. I know you hooked up the AZ Flip guys, Chris and BP, but I like deals too. Let's see. Thank you so much for everybody watching. Rochelle, great information. Thanks, Jeremy. What up, Peeps? What up, man? This is so intriguing. I'm glad seeing Ryan be stupid is great. So yes, Dane, you purchased through your IRA, but all proceeds have to go through IRA, go back into it. I've learned that. I'm not gonna pretend like I know everything. Matt, again, thanks for the info. You too. I have another question. Yeah, we get it. He's asking if time allows. We got plenty of time. Can you talk about converting a 401k to a Roth fund to do a deal? Or can you fund from a 401k, or does it always have to be a self-directed IRA?
So yes, so that's a really good question. So your 401k, or even if you have an IRA at a more traditional brokerage, they're not going to allow you to hold the types of assets that we hold at Quest. So if you have a 401k, if you still currently work at that company, more than likely you have to leave that 401k there until you no longer work there, or you have separation of service. What you could do is ask if they allow for an in-service rollover, basically a fancy way of saying, hey, I still work here, can I roll any of this money out? But basically, if you have left a job or they do allow you to move those funds out, then you're eligible to roll over those funds to an IRA. Basically, your 401k will always roll over directly into a traditional IRA. When the money's moving from your 401k over to Quest, we don't like to change what type of money it is while it's moving to Quest. So we will roll it over directly into a traditional IRA, and then in-house, once your money is at Quest, we will do the Roth conversion for you. You just fill out a one-page form, super easy. It doesn't cost you anything extra. We don't charge you anything additional to go from the traditional IRA into the Roth IRA. But we prefer to do it that way because you can take money from a 401k and move it directly into a Roth IRA. It's called a mid-air conversion, but when you do that, half of the reporting to the IRS is done by us, and then the other half of the reporting is done by the 401k provider. If anything, anywhere in that transaction goes wonky for any reason, it's much harder to rectify it or fix it. It doesn't happen very often, but I mean, if anything were to happen, we just prefer not to do it that way. We will roll the money over directly into a traditional IRA, just through a rollover. You'll initiate that through the 401k provider, and then they will send us the funds. And then once the funds are at Quest, you just fill out a Roth conversion form, and then we move it into the Roth IRA for you.
Y'all are up here. I'm down here.
Yeah.
Like,
that's all right. We can do it. I'll come back and we can do it all again. So
there you go. Yeah. So before I ask this question, I will throw the disclaimer out there for you. Haley, to my knowledge, is not an attorney.
Nope.
I am not an attorney. I am not a financial planner.
Nope.
I don't believe you're a financial planner.
No, do not give
that
tax,
said,
legal, or
what is your
advice.
entertainment purposes only? What is your opinion on a series LLC?
I honestly am not the best person to ask for that. I know about series LLCs, but I'm not even going to answer that question because I'm probably not going to answer it correctly.
So that's the opinion. Go and without sounding annoying. That is a question for your attorney, and that's exactly why I did one of those disclaimers that we do pretty much every show. So yeah, when you're asking questions about LLCs, that you need to talk to an attorney.
Yeah.
Cameron, hey, haven't seen you in a while, man. Where you been, buddy? Can you assign a contract to someone else's IRA? I'll let you answer.
As long as they're not a disqualified person, you can assign contracts to IRAs. You can actually use your IRA to do assignments. That's one way a lot of people kind of like to grow a small IRA.
Oh, nice.
You can lock in that property under contract in the name of your IRA, do an assignment, and whatever assignment fee is made goes back into your IRA.
So well, before we go into that, I do want to get into it just because I think Cameron might have asked it wrong. Can you assign a contract? You can't assign it to somebody else's IRA. You can assign it to somebody else to close with their IRA. I know it's a little bit of distinction.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, but
yeah.
I just went over there. On the assignment thing, that's that. Now we're in sexy land.
Yeah.
Earlier, you said you could JV with your IRA.
Yeah.
So say I've already got the paperwork for a monster assignment, and it's like a $50,000 assignment, and you're like, you know what? I only need 20, but I want to put 30 to that. What are the steps before I actually close on it? Right now, I have it assigned, or I have the property under contract from Harper 123 LLC. What's the process to get my IRA on board to assign it to Haley?
Well, basically in that case, and that does happen a lot, you just do an amendment to the contract and change the name of the buyer from your name or your LLC's name to the name of the IRA. As long as like the deal has not gone through yet or it hasn't closed,
you can't retro,
you can always do an amendment and change the name of the buyer. Typically, if the sales price isn't changing and like the date of the closing isn't changing, the seller typically is not going to care the name of who's buying.
Right.
No, they probably don't even know what's going on, honestly.
Correct.
But yeah, so I mean, and even if you're like buying a rental and you decide you want to do it in your IRA, you lock in that property under contract under your own name, just do an amendment before we close and list the IRA as the buyer.
So, and I don't know if it's because I'm shady or just I'm creative, but what I'm hearing is I start a Roth IRA with $1,000. And then I do an assignment where I'm going to get 50 grand, and I'll just put all 50 to it. Now I have a $51,000, so I'm never going to pay tax on that.
Correct. Yeah. Now, one important thing with that is you don't want to do that too many times because you don't want to look like you're running a business inside of the IRA.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take $10 and grow it to $1 million by assigning 50 properties in a year, that's going to look a little sketchy to the IRS. That's going to raise some red flags.
But if you just want to, say I want to leapfrog from going $1,000 to $100,000 and now I actually have enough money to actually loan out on flips and then maybe throw in an assignment once every other year or something, that's a fun strategy.
Yeah, it is. And also that works really well. Again, it works well for small IRAs, but there are also two specialty accounts that we hold at Quest, the Coverdell Education Savings Account and a Health Savings Account. So a Coverdell, you can only contribute $2,000 per child per year. And basically this account can be self-directed just like our IRAs, but it can be used to pay for educational expenses, anywhere from kindergarten up until age 30, completely tax-free. So college tuition, private school. I know I was talking to someone the other day, they've got like a $50,000 tuition for private school and found out about the Coverdell, and she was excited. She was loving it. But you can take a small account like that, do an assignment, and then use these specialty accounts to pay for those educational expenses. If your child uses your home internet to do homework, your home internet is an educational expense that you can pay for tax-free out of a Coverdell. If you do that $50,000 assignment within a Coverdell education savings account, your home internet is free for years, essentially, from that.
I hope y'all are taking notes. And we're getting close to the end, so make sure if you have questions, now's the time to jump in and get those questions, because I'm going to try to keep it less about me being as stupid as I am. So if you have questions, jump in. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for everyone watching. Joe, thanks for the information. Laura, very helpful. What's the difference between Roth and regular IRA? We talked about that, but do a 30-second review.
Basically, the difference between a regular IRA or traditional IRA and a Roth IRA is just when the money is taxed. A traditional IRA is going to grow tax deferred, so you get a tax deduction when you put money in. It's all growing, and none of that money has been taxed yet, essentially, and you pay the taxes when you take distributions. Roth IRA is the exact opposite. You pay the taxes going in, and it grows completely tax-free, and then as long as you leave the profits in there until you're 59 and a half and you've had the account open for 5 years, completely tax and penalty-free distributions for not only the rest of your life, but whenever you die and you pass on that Roth IRA to your heirs, they also inherit a completely tax-free account that they can immediately take tax-free distributions or continue to invest and grow as well. So it's a great way to pass wealth on to your family members as well.
You have a fan in Mr. Ashcroft. He says, Haley cracks me up. I say Mr. Ashcroft because every time we've tried to say his first name, we always butcher it, so I'm just not even going to try.
That's funny.
That one right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Ashcroft. DeMarcus, is there a number of days where you have to put money back into your IRA in relations to do like a 1031?
So that's a really great question. We get that question a lot. So when you're doing investments in your IRA, you're not actually taking the money out of your IRA. So whenever you're doing the investments, your IRA is actually taking title to those investments. The only time you can take a distribution from your IRA, if you take money out for personal use, you can actually do it to where you put the money back in within 60 days. It's no longer treated as a distribution, but instead it's classified as an indirect rollover or a 60-day rollover at that point. But to answer the question, no, 1031 exchanges really are not applicable in this case because it's not taxed, because it's held in the IRA.
Corey, thanks so much for watching earlier. Greg, damn right I'm next. I want deals. Just playing with buddy. Dominique, where do I find the best Roth IRA? I have a 401k and it's not growing as rapidly as I want. So you're saying if I quit my job, I could pay taxes on it one time and can keep going into my Roth, no penalty.
Yes.
I feel there is a very overt plug coming.
Oh, yes. Yeah, give us a call. Talk to an IRA specialist. We'll walk you through the whole process. And yes, there's a lot of great information and education happening right here in this hour, but how does it apply to you? How does it apply to your 401k, your personal situation? Are you quitting your job? Do you still have your 401k? Do you have kids or health expenses? Give us a call, talk to an IRA specialist. I've got a 30-minute drive back to the office, so go ahead and call us. We've got all of our other IRA specialists at the office. I'll pass you guys along to them as well. But yeah, give us a call. We'll walk you through the whole process, tell you all the forms and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Basically just call
Best Roth IRA, Quest IRA.
Trenton, a great show you're running. Raining Nuggets, we try, buddy. Joe, you understand. That's awesome. Mary, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Carrie, thanks for watching. Shirley, my husband has IRA. I do not. Can he loan me money on a flip that he is not a part of? Is it considered beneficial since we are married and not a part of my LLC?
Yes. Correct. So your husband you are just as disqualified to your husband's IRA as he is. The certain people that are disqualified people that your IRA cannot loan money to, again, is yourself and your spouse, any of your lineal ascendants and descendants, so your parents, grandparents, kids, grandkids, their spouses, and any companies that these people own, control, manage, highly compensated by, those are the people that you cannot loan money to. Even if it's your husband's IRA, he's trying to loan it to himself or you, doesn't matter, you guys are both disqualified.
So, Robert, this next question is exactly why we have Haley in. Wait, I can use my IRAs for real estate transactions and not pay taxes on the proceeds of those transactions if it's a Roth IRA? The first part of the question is correct. I don't think the Roth IRA it has to be a self-directed IRA. Is that correct?
Yes. It would have to be an IRA at a company like Quest that allows you to hold private assets within the IRA. More than likely, the traditional brokerage that you're currently with is not going to allow you to hold real estate in an IRA. Honestly, a lot of them don't even know that you can do it, even a lot of financial advisors out there. I had a friend that actually works at Fidelity and didn't know that you could do this, and he was arguing with me. He goes, "You cannot buy real estate in an IRA," and I was like, "We have 17,000 clients. You definitely can." But there's not a lot of places out there that offer the type of education that we do, and so not a lot of people know about it. It's just not a conversation that a lot of people are having. It's one that I have all day, every day, because I think it's awesome, and it's something that people should know about. Real estate investor or not, a lot of our clients honestly still have their full-time jobs. They just aren't happy with the returns that they're getting in their traditional IRA that they have currently, and they're now realizing that there are other options out there.
The fact that if your return on your money is a 0.0 whatever, you're losing at least, well, I don't know what the interest rate is, or not interest rate. I don't know what the inflation rate is nowadays, but back last time I looked it was like 6%. So I have no clue what this question is, but maybe you do. So I can use an HSA account as a buyer and use it for child expenses?
So
I don't know what that means.
Yes, so HSA is a health savings account. The two specialty accounts that we offer.
Don't got that either.
Yeah, so don't worry. Well, next time we talk to Ryan, we'll have an update on how many IRAs he has at that point. But no, so the Coverdell Education Savings Account is the one that can be used to pay for educational expenses, completely tax-free. The Health Savings Account, which I didn't get a chance to cover, can be used to pay for health expenses, completely tax-free. So those are two different types of accounts. You can have multiple accounts, you can partner these accounts together, and you've really got a lot of options. Now with the health savings account, you do have to have a high deductible health plan through your health insurance in order to be able to make a contribution to that HSA. But give us a call, we'll kind of take you through that as well and kind of all of the terms there. But yeah, health savings account is really awesome. We call it the best of both worlds. It's probably one of the most valuable accounts that you could have if you qualify for it, if you have that right type of health insurance through a high deductible health plan. The health savings account is the only account that when you put money in, you get a tax deduction and you can invest and grow that account, self-direct it just like all of our others. And then whenever you go to take those distributions out for qualified health expenses, which is honestly very broad, the distributions come out completely tax-free. It's the only account that you get a deduction when you put money in, and when you take it out for health expenses, it comes out completely tax-free. And not only that, but if you have a health expense that you pay for out of pocket, say you fall and break your hip and you have a $30,000 hospital bill. If you pay for that out of pocket, but you have a health savings account in place, say maybe your HSA is kind of small at the time, you don't have enough money in there. If you pay for a health expense out of pocket, you can come back years down the line and reimburse yourself completely tax-free from your health savings account to reimburse yourself for that health expense that you paid for out of pocket. As long as the HSA is in place at the time that you pay for that health expense yourself, you can come back months or years down the line and reimburse yourself completely tax-free.
I don't know what that means, but that sounds awesome.
It is. It's really cool.
Let's go speed round so we can get everybody's questions. Does it matter if you put the proceeds from an assignment in a traditional IRA or Roth IRA?
So whichever account the assignment was done in, if you did the assignment in the traditional IRA, it would have to go back in the traditional IRA.
Yeah, the key takeaway there is the IRA has to be in place before the assignment's done. It can't be retroactive. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Ryan, y'all should do a Haley Teach Me Something, Wicked Knowledge.
Thank you.
Dude, we're trying, but we're trying.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. He'll be an expert by no time.
Well, yeah, I won't. Shit.
But that's what we're
Does
here
it include 529 expenses for child savings?
No, so a 529, you cannot self-direct a 529. You can take funds from a Coverdell and move them into a 529, but you cannot take funds from a 529 and move them into a Coverdell. Unfortunately, you can't go that way, but you could have both accounts.
Do you work with people from other states?
Yes, we do. We have clients all over the country.
If you're in Phoenix, they're coming there soon.
We are. August 9th, we'll be doing an event in Phoenix. I'm really excited. I'm actually helping to plan that, so stay tuned for more.
DeMarcus, what are you saying? Do y'all have job openings? Okay, inside joke for Ryan. Do y'all have job openings? I don't know.
Yes, we do. Come to the dark side.
If it's an inside joke for Ryan, I don't know what the joke is. I don't know. I never knew this. My advisor didn't mention this to me because advisors are mean, and not all advisors are built the same.
They want their commissions.
New series, Grant, teach me something. Well, we already have a series, Grant, teach me something. Oh my God, Haley, you are amazing. I have an HSA. Last chance to get your in on the comment picker, so drop some fire emojis, drop some hearts, give some love. Let Haley know how well she did. I think it was a great show. I'd like to pretend like I learned something. I think I learned something, but at the same time, I think my brain is melting. I have a stretch IRA. What the shit is a stretch IRA? That I inherited that has an RMD. You don't need notes, I'll take notes. That I have to take each year so IRS can take taxes. I don't want to take the money out. I'd leave it if I could. What could I do with money like your company's IRA for my money?
Yes. So basically what that is, a stretch IRA is basically an IRA that you have inherited from someone. Whenever you inherit an IRA, that allows you to take distributions without the 10% penalty, even before you're 59 and a half. So the qualifications to take a distribution without that penalty is that you turn 59 and a half, or basically that you die and you pass that IRA on to someone else. When you inherit an IRA, you are always going to have a required minimum distribution. There's really no way around that, unfortunately. And that is one thing to consider if you are self-directing your IRA. A lot of times when you are using a self-directed IRA to invest in these types of assets, they may not be as liquid as maybe your stocks or mutual funds. If you have to take a distribution out from like Fidelity, you can just sell off some stocks in a couple of days and take out that distribution. With your IRA at Quest, it is important to keep that in mind, but you can actually distribute an asset or distribute part of an asset. If you do that, we will need a hard fair market valuation on that, meaning if it's a property, we would need an appraisal because that distribution is a taxable event. We have to know what it's worth that we're distributing because that will be taxable to you this year. So maybe if you have RMDs each year from your inherited IRA, maybe just do some short-term promissory notes. So you're still liquid enough that you can satisfy that amount that you're required to take out each year.
So on that, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this, and you think it will be good knowledge for somebody else, tag that person below so they can be introduced. I just saw that Jeff had turned on John to this channel and shared. This is Facebook. This is not on network TV. So the only way this knowledge, this training will be shared is if you share it out to specific people. And sometimes just sharing our page, that's awesome. But if you know specific people in your market that need this type of education, drop it below. Yes. Thank you, Aaron, for dropping Leslie in this. Jeff, she is great. I already opened an IRA with Haley Quest a few months ago.
Thanks,
Joe, do you have a Facebook page? Are you talking about me, or I will drop them? Though they're tagged above in the comments, and so is Haley. So real quick, again, how can people get a hold of you? I know you got a couple events coming up, so. Let's not go too pitchy, so we can get the elevator.
How much time do we have? No,
you get the elevator.
Yeah. So to reach us, again, give us a call, 855-FUN-IRAs, because we make IRAs fun.
That's 855-FUN.
IRAs, yes.
IRAs.
Yes. Oh, yes, with an S.
Okay. Cool.
Or if you just go to questira.com, you can actually put in your information and request to have an IRA specialist contact you. We'll typically contact you very, very quickly. As soon as those leads get assigned out to us, we give you a call and kind of either set up in a time to have a consultation with you over the phone or in the office. But give us a call, go online, send me an email. My email again is just haley.gant@questira.com. I think we have that listed out in the comments. But we do a lot of education over this. We do free classes every week from our Houston office every Tuesday and Dallas office every Wednesday. We live stream all of our classes on our Facebook page. So it's an hour-long class. We have over 300 webinars that we have live streamed on our Facebook page. We also have an expo coming up in August. So all of you guys that are commenting online, whether you're in Texas or not in Texas, we have a really big event. It's the Quest Expo, August 25th and 26th. If you use the promo code Propelio, you're going to get 20% off your tickets. We have people coming from all over the country. We have several different speakers and panels from all over the nation. We have VIP options where you get some one-on-one time with the different speakers. So use the code Propelio and you'll get 20% off. I know Ryan would really appreciate you guys if you did that. But that's going to be a really great event.
I will say, and I'm not throwing shade, it's just funny, about 5-10 minutes into this episode, somebody dropped their affiliate code.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, somebody trying to make money. To be clear, we're not doing affiliate. We're just trying to help.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's your favorite business ebook at the moment?
My business ebook? Ooh,
not ebook, business e.
Business ebook?
Like, what do you read?
So I need to read a lot more than I do. So honestly, a lot of my reading is about learning about IRAs.
Okay.
I do a lot of reading online on just websites about kind of like which markets have the most money saved for retirement. Surprisingly, like Delaware is one of the top states that has the most retirement money saved. So if you're in Delaware, come call us. Maybe we should do an event out there with you guys.
Right.
But I mean, just kind of, I don't really have a lot of time to read books. We've got a pretty fast growing office. I help run our Dallas office, which this time last year we had 2 people full time. Today we have 8 people full time in the Dallas office. We're actually having to knock out some walls because we don't have enough desks for everyone. So
I tell you what I'll do. I did the same book. I'll do the same book I did Wednesday, just because I met the guy over the weekend. It was a fun book. It was Sean Whalen's How to Get Shit Done or something like that. It's kind of a moto book, but you know what? Everybody needs a little moto. So we'll do 3 of those. So we'll do a quick comment picker. So we'll definitely be replaying. Thank you again. Thank you so much for everybody watching. We'll get Haley to answer all these questions above, as well in the comments below. But let's go ahead and see who wins some books, and I'll write it down. If you do win a book, please DM me your address. Dominique with Home Solutions, you win a book.
Nice.
I feel like Oprah sometimes. You get a book.
You get a book.
You get a book.
I told you some of my dance moves are going to come out.
Hey, dance moves are awesome. Let's see, where we at? Dominique, she wins a book. Oh, did I break it? I love breaking stuff. What, did my internet go out? It can't go out. We're still live. So Dominique, you get a book. Oh my God, people.
Build the anticipation. A little drum roll.
I don't know. Did our internet die? It couldn't have died. Anyway, so that being said, because technology loves me, Dominique gets a book. Well, more people are still commenting, so you get more opportunities to get books. That's awesome. Random picker, Rochelle. Is that Rochelle or Rachel?
Rochelle?
Rochelle Seaton Roberts, you get a book.
Woo.
And then we'll do one more for shits and giggles, and because the book is super cheap.
Do I get one too?
I mean,
since I haven't been doing much reading, apparently.
I mean, do we need to?
Yeah. Thanks,
and then,
Ryan. Thanks.
I mean, I'll get you a book. I'll get you a book. You know, fine.
Appreciate that.
It's a $4 book. I'll get it for you. Laura Johnson Kimbrell. You know, so those 3 are your book winners. Thank you again so much for watching. If you want to reach out to Haley, she is available. She's on social media. And again, make sure you watch this whole thing because there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of nuggets, a lot of training. We just went for about an hour and 20 minutes, and it seemed like it was 12 minutes. So that's awesome. Right. If you are currently not liking our Facebook page, I would say, what the shit? Come on. You know, turn on those notifications. I mean, we go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, trying to give you as much free content, free education as possible. Monday, super secret. I'll say it because there's only a few people watching. We have our mastermind here at the office, so if you want to come to that, hit me up, send me a DM, we'll get you on there. It's also an event on the Facebook page. Next Tuesday, July 10th, is our DFW Real Estate Investor Meetup. It's pretty crazy. It's our 3rd event we have in the DFW area. If you're within 3 to 5 hour drive, I would recommend coming into that. We've got speakers from Houston. We got speakers from San Antonio. We've got Pat Hilton flying out to do live music. So at our Real Estate Investor Meetup, we have a DJ. We have live music. We're going to have 10 different presentations. And you have free booze. Which is better than Natty Light and Keystone. We've got Crown, we've got Macallan, we got Scotch, we got whiskey, we got vodka. I got like a case and a half of Tito's. And we got Chick-fil-A. So if you haven't registered, please register. We're looking forward to that event. It's going to be the third one. It's going to be a really good one. And again, if you need to reach out to Haley, I suggest it. A lot of knowledge there. Seems like she can help hold your hand and guide you. So, and I've also, I always forget to do this, subtle plug to Propelio. If you need tools for investors, if you need access to MLS comps, if you need an investor-friendly website, if you need off-market lead lists, check out Propelio.com. It's only $89 a month if you can afford that. I mean, whatever. I'm not going to throw shade, but come on, check us out. Anyway, thank you so much. Slow-mo high five out.
Woo!
Boom.